What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. But if you're new here, welcome period. My name is Sasha and this is my space. So we're in 2024. It's a brand new year. That means brand new habits, brand new cycles all over again, right? Personally, I have a lot of new goals this year, not only in my personal life, but also in my professional life. I'm really trying to reach new levels of achievement for myself. And in order to usher in these new things, I'm gonna have to do new things that I haven't done before. Things that may make me uncomfortable, things that may be sometimes unpleasant or tough, but it's worth it in the end once you get to where you want to go. I consider myself to be a pretty positive and optimistic person, and it's just always been easier for me to get over hurdles or tough times in my life. So I think with that in mind, I can offer somebody some solutions on how we can just make 2024 our greatest year yet, how we can get the ball rolling on these new things and new ambitions that we have, how we can actually acquire the life that it is that we're trying to manifest. So in this video, I'm going to just break down and discuss 5 key steps that I feel like have not only aided in some of the great things that I've done in the past, but are also going to help me to revisit and just revive the great things that I want to do in the future, especially for this year. So step number 1 is going to be get real with yourself. One of the first things you have to do is get real with yourself about what it is that you actually want in order to create a clear, tangible path to move forward in order to get that thing. Now, in last week's video, I talked about how this year I'm done sleeping on myself. I'm done playing small. I'm done lying about the things that I genuinely want in this social media content creator space. And I had to get real with myself about that because for a long time I was minimizing these desires that I have to grow on this platform. And it's not going to come to me if I'm pretending like that's not really what I want. Do you know what I mean? I knew that I could be doing so much more to align myself with what it is that I really want, whether it be sticking consistently to small habits, creating a routine, making more of an effort in the areas that I knew I wanted to grow in, even evaluating my relationships. But then the next question is, okay, well, how do we get there? How do we do that? How do I get to the point where the intention behind what I do aligns with the actions, the mindsets, the habits, surroundings, and even energies of what already exists in this life that I say I want? I truly believe that everything we want, every lifestyle we envision for ourselves already exists in this world. It's just up to us to continue moving forward with the actions that are going to align us with that thing. And then when I got a little more real with myself, I realized, well, maybe there are some things that need to be let go of in order to make space and room for what I really want to enter my life. It can't come in if shit's crowded. Like maybe there were just some stuff in the way. Sometimes we just have to let it go. All of the things and even people who are not in alignment with what we want to have in this world. And deep down, I think we all know what those things are. We all know what those people are. We're just afraid. Now I'm at a place in my life where my vision for the life that I want is so much greater than the fear of releasing what doesn't serve me anymore. You gotta let it go. And with that being said, step number 2 is going to be release. Nowadays, it's much easier for me to release, but it took a lot of practice and a lot of honing in on my intuition, guiding me, letting me know what things, what people, what places are just not for me. And I think that's the toughest part, is when we realize some of the people in our lives need to be released. To move on from friendships, even colleagues and coworkers, family especially, it can be really, really heavy, and these bonds are really tough to break. It can also take a lot of time to recover from what it is that you've released. But you know your truth, and if it's clear that it's time to move on, you have to honor that. Sometimes the things we need to release are centered around our mentalities. It's easy to continue doing things the way you've always done them. It's not always easy to recognize the ways that can improve and broaden our perspectives on what it is that we already know. I had to ask myself, how do I release old narratives? How do I release old ways of thinking or speaking that just aren't good for me? I had to release even some of the pessimistic phrases or words that I use frequently, sometimes without even thinking twice about it. But if I wanted to be successful on the path to my goals, I needed to get real and get serious about just eradicating unhelpful, unhealthy speech from my diet. That became a lot easier once I got real about it being there in the first place. And then when that became obvious, the more I recognized that I actually have a choice in choosing what it is that I do want to say and how I do want to feel and what I do want to think. The choice to be great can start as small as just changing the language around my goals, because that only breathes new life into it. It's a whole new energy, which brings us to step number 3. Change the language. Now, instead of using phrases like, I hope so, or I'm trying, I say, I've got this. Even if it's just to myself, and most of the time, this energy is enough to keep me encouraged and then get the ball rolling. However, we're human, I'm human, and there are times when it's not always that simple and that's not always enough. For example, those times when I was sleeping on myself, when I was being inconsistent, when I was self-doubting, when I was just being distracted, all of these things that were stopping me from going full force towards my goals. It was more than just having to talk myself through it. I had to dig deeper and really figure out what it is that's stopping me, what it is that's in my path, and move forward past that before I could get to the place where I can talk myself through things. And although we are human, I really do feel like if we woke up today, that means we are miraculous beings. We really do have the ability to manifest some amazing, amazing things for ourselves. We have the ability through our speech to create new realities for ourselves. Once you got that down, once that starts clicking, then you can take it a step further, which brings us to step 4, write it down, make it real. I know we live in a digital world as I'm talking to you on this YouTube channel, but I am still a girl who appreciates real pen to real paper. Another word for this action is called scribing. I really do feel like when we scribe, when we write it down, the energy of that just brings us closer to what we want, and it is just such a powerful, powerful thing. And I think scribing can be done and interpreted in so many different ways. You can write to journal and get your emotions and your feelings out. You can write to plan your day. You can write to manifest. There are so many different ways, but just keep writing. Write it down. Make it real. Now, I mentioned writing to plan your day, right? So every single day when I wake up, one of the first things I do is grab my planner and check off the fact that I woke up that day. And then from there, I go through all of my to-dos and just everything that I intend to do for that day. And it just makes you feel so good checking things off once you complete them, once the task is done. But not only that, for a long while now, I've been being more intentional about the smaller things that I get done throughout the day that might seem mundane or not important in the grand scheme of things, but they truly are. For example, when I drink a cup of tea to nourish my body, when I stretch, when I take a beat to sit in the sun, when I read some pages of a book, when I charge my crystals, any little thing, I write it down and I check it off. And this keeps me motivated. This keeps the flow going in order to just encourage me to have a great day. And not only that, it doesn't always have to be about the professional things that we want to do. These things about our wellness and our mind and just keeping care of our bodies are so important, even more so important than the other stuff. There's so much power in writing down what we want, what we intend to do, what we like, what we see, what we feel. So much power. And when I do write, the focus for me is definitely much more on the positive end of the spectrum. We're not concerned about what we don't like and what we don't need, which brings us to our last and final step, step number 5, block out the noise. Y'all know what I mean about noise. I mean distractions, whether it be people, places, things, anything that does not align. Block it out. Why? Because you've got work to do and you've got to focus. The more I do all of these things on a daily basis, the more encouraged and positive and just optimistic I feel about my future and the things that I want to do, the goals that I have, and me actually completing and reaching them. But isn't it funny how just when you've got the ball rolling, just when you're feeling good, here comes a family member trying to rain on your parade and just be negative about your plans, or your best friend just picks an argument with you out of nowhere, or you're scrolling on your phone and then what pops up? Something negative that you just keep overhearing about. Sometimes we just don't have the most positive people with the most positive mindsets and outlooks and perspectives around us. And it can be tough to rise above that and just keep pushing through. But it's things like releasing what doesn't align with us, changing our language towards ourselves, writing down our plans and our goals that actually allow us to begin moving forward in doing that. And the more I focused on what I can control in my own existence, funny enough, the noise kind of dissipated on its own, and it became much easier to block it out. It became silenced, letting my intuition take the lead on these things that I know just don't align and releasing them from me and blocking them out. I am just gaining even more confidence and even more self-assurance in the fact that I know where I'm going, I know what I need to do to get there, and I know that when things come along that try to distract me or block my path or are negative, I know how to move forward from that. I know how to block that out. I know how to say no to that. I know me and I know who I am. And when you know who you are, it's a lot harder for people with their own opinions to try to tell you who you are. Tune into your own light, your own mind, your own being. This is the only way that you come into alignment with all of the beautiful, wonderful things that you want in this life. And the more that this becomes a habit to you, the more that you will just see all of the opportunity and abundance that surrounds you. And I know I said 5 steps, but I'm gonna add in this bonus one here. And I guess we can call it bonus 5.2. Bonus step is give gratitude. Gratitude for what you already have, gratitude for what's coming to you, gratitude for the things that you've released, gratitude for it all, because it's all leading to this destined place that you're trying to go. Not only that, when we start to feel good right now about the things that we want in the future, it brings that energy into the present. If I want a new car and I start to feel excited and giddy and grateful for that new car now, even while not physically having it, I'm going to align myself with the energy of that new car. And that doesn't mean that poof, a car out of thin air is going to just fall into my lap. But when I get excited about that, I am going to be aligned with places, people, and opportunities that help me to get that new car. I think the same can be applied to almost anything in life. I really, really do. And even though this was a bonus step, I think honestly that should have been number 1 because it's the most important. It's just feeling grateful for life. If you woke up today, if you have breath, if you can see, you can hear, you can smell, you have a roof over your head, you have food to eat, you have support, you have community, you have a pet, I don't know, everyone around you is alive and well. Just be super duper thankful for that and start there. So with all of that, these are the things that I have been doing and that I intend to continue doing this year in 2024 in order to be my best, greatest self. And I hope that you all will join me on this journey. Let me know down below what you all intend to do for this year to be your greatest self, to just do it up, do it like you've never done it before. Or if you've used and implement any of these steps, how they've helped you, I would love to know. Thank you all for watching. I really hope that you all found some value from this video and that you continue to be your greatest self in 2024. I love you, I love me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.